like sucking, but I ain't gay.
Legit bad podcast.
Fuck those honkies.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
He really knows how to suck a wiener.
Hello, welcome to Legit Bat, and now your hosts, Joe, Jen, and Ben.
Welcome back to Legit Bat. I'm Joe. Jen is with me. Ben is not here today. Oh, fuck. I forgot to do the button again. Hang on. Okay, there. Now we're on. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. The intro you hear at the beginning is listener sent in, and I have a stack of them ready to put in rotation. So if you want to do that, email us, and we'll put it in there because it's fun. You should hear some of the ones I have planned for the next few episodes. But our guest tonight is Steve Poikenon from AM WakeUp, Slow News Day, and what was that third one you mentioned?
Blunt Force Wisdom.
There we go. And then also Chris from Rained Out Rantcast and AM WakeUp. And we had both these guys on before, and we just wanted to catch up with you guys, see what's going on. What have you guys been talking about? What's really stuck in your craw besides the Trump shooting? That might be a tough question.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of wild shit that's going on right now. And they did a like a dress rehearsal of the red heifer thing.
Really?
Huh?
Yeah,
getting close now.
I think it's in September, man.
Yeah, I would imagine, but they did it was in Zero Hedge this morning. I know Chris had physical therapy, so he wasn't on this morning.
I didn't see it,
but
I didn't know.
Yeah. Trial run for cutting cows. So that's gonna get really weird.
Well, for anybody who isn't familiar with the whole red heifer thing, I'm a little bit, because I've seen you and other people posting about it. But for somebody who's never heard of that before, it's a tiny hat thing. But to kind of give us a breakdown of what the fuck they were even doing over there.
You want to take this one, Chris?
Tiny hat. It's just part of the ritual to bring in the third temple. So they have to have unblemished, perfect red heifers that have to be in between. What did we figure out yesterday with Adam?
It was at least 3 years old. That was the
at least 3 years old.
And
there is a cutoff. It's like between 3 years and like 4 years or 3.5. There's a cutoff date. They can't be so old, but they have to be a certain age.
Yeah,
and then go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just no blemishes on the cow. Yeah.
How
No black
difficult
hairs,
is that
no-
to achieve? To have zero blemishes?
With cloning and CRISPR, I think it. You know what's funny is I read an article yesterday from 21 when they first took those cows over there, and it just so happens the farmhand that day that tags the cows wasn't there, and didn't happen to tag five red heifers. They happen to have 5 perfect red heifers that didn't, because if they would have got tagged in the ear, out of there.
So suggesting cloning.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if you look into some of the articles, they even mention like CRISPR. But the one I read yesterday is like, oh, it was by chance they found 5 red heifers, and lucky Tommy wasn't at work and didn't stab them in the ear with them tags. And then they had to figure out how to tag them to export them to Israel. Right. So I don't know how they did that. They were talking about making them swallow a tag.
They had custom Flavor Flav necklaces.
Is that just run and cover because they're actually just chipped with like geo-tracking and stuff like that?
Well, they can't be chipped. They can't have
no blemish.
They can't have no blemish. They can't have a yoke. They can't have ever been worked. They can't even, like, I don't even know how they got them there, because
they can't have ever given birth.
They can't have they can't be confined.
That seems
They're
like
supposed to be free roaming too.
They've never given birth. That seems easy to control, but the rest of it's like, what?
And then the farmer was talking about how they were genetically modified. So the farmer is a hardcore evangelical Christian, and in order to ensure that the rapture happens, you got to cut the cows. So in the rapture, the Christian God actually beats up the Jewish Messiah. So it's almost like an accelerator for
Yeah.
an end time scenario. The priest that does the cutting has to be can't have ever done. There's
Ever
a whole
touched
bunch.
a dead body?
Yeah,
They found a kid was born at home, so he's never been in a hospital, because in a hospital you're automatically, there's dead people in a hospital.
in the presence of dead people. Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
gonna
he's
say, was
never.
this an honor system thing? So they've actually tracked this kid to make sure.
Yeah, they found a kid that is going through rabbinical, or is that how you say it? Going through the schooling. What the hell just happened here? I just lost my screen of everybody. But
But
yeah,
so this is all for. So this is a Jewish ceremony, just so people know. It's supposed to be done in a certain place.
it's fulfilling
Apparently,
a
not a
prophecy.
certain time.
It's fulfilling a prophecy, and the prophecy has stood for over 2,000 years, because it's almost impossible to come up with a freaking totally unblemished red heifer without, a little bit of cheating. But if you're a
Yeah.
loophole based religion, you find a way. You find a way. You do.
yeah,
And go ahead.
that's their job, right? That's their whole system, is a loophole. Their whole religion is a big loophole.
Yeah. If you've got the wire that allows you to cheat on Shabbos and all that, we're technically home. Technically.
Oh, I've heard a lot of those loopholes with, especially like the Sabbath and you can't flick a light switch on because technically that's work to turn on the light. So they find loopholes about it, or like ways around it, and it's like that. It doesn't seem like, even if you were to go by the ancient like Hebrew teachings, you'd think that wouldn't be permissible since it's 2024. I don't want to say those people, but the people that practice this religion seem to find ways around it, and then that seems kind of sacrilegious. And like, why are you even doing it? Why are you even practicing this religion anymore if you're doing that?
They write the laws and everything, the judicial system. I mean, come on.
What are the rules in the Sabbath? What are you not supposed to do? It says no work, right? And that's pretty broad. So
You can't cook, you can't work, you can't spend money, you can't you're not supposed to leave your house. That's where the wire comes in. And now we showed a video, what was it, yesterday or the day before, where they went through certain neighborhoods and put like gray PVC piping on the telephone poles. So instead of the wire like New York and other cities have, so they can go outside their house on Saturday, they have these gray piping on the telephone poles that extends it for them. And every once in a while, they got to go around and fix them because they fall down. Most of your appliances now, your refrigerator, stove, microwave, all have Shabbats, not Shabbats, it's
Shabbos settings. Yeah.
Shabbat settings. Yeah. Jew settings. They have Jew settings.
Yeah.
what the fuck?
We learned that from the guy who has the TikTok, and he does he's like, here's how we make coffee on Shabbat. He's like, here's how we use these loopholes. Well, they're not loopholes, but this is how we can make the coffee on Shabbat. So we have to have the water boiled on Friday, and it sits in here, and then we have to put it in this cup, because we can't put it in the coffee cup, because that would be like cooking. So we have to put it in this cup, and then if we have it in this cup and then we transfer it to this cup, it's not actually cooking, and then we can stir it up. But we can't stir it up this way. Someone has to come in and stir it for us. It's like,
That sounds, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like a lot of fucking work.
Yeah. But it's on
there's
the
many
correct
steps.
day.
Yeah.
It's on the right day though,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like every day is a Jewish holiday.
Are they allowed to get dressed? This isn't like a Jewish religion, rag on you thing, but I just have questions. Like, are they allowed to get dressed? Are they allowed to get up out of bed? Isn't that also as much work as flipping a light switch or pushing buttons on a microwave? Like, how far
it's not even the work part, I don't think. I think it's they have to be Amish for the day or something. No electricity. You can't cook. You can't leave your house. You're just supposed to, I believe, study and worship on that day. You're just supposed to study the old. Torah and worship and
Make
and
sure
what's
don't leave out
crazy
the
is
Talmud.
how well in the Talmud, right? It says any Gentile caught worshiping on the Sabbath shall be put to death, right? And to me, that's interesting because it's like, well, I mean, the Christians, I believe, tried to worship on the Sabbath because it kind of says to do that, and then the other guys are like, we will fucking kill you. And they were like, okay, we can do it on a Sunday. That's cool. We can just do it the day after you guys, if that's awesome. I don't know if that's how it worked out, but when you
It
find
sounds about
out,
right.
like, when you find out it says any Gentile caught worshiping on the Sabbath shall be put to death, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. That makes
Well, I mean,
sense.
there's a lot of those rules none of them follow anymore, especially from the Torah. I mean, the first 5 books where they're talking about if a chick is on her period that she has to be like outside the city walls or something. Like, there's all kinds of weird shit that they don't even observe anymore. So it seems like it was like a pick and choose, like choose your own adventure, which rules you want to follow. So
Yeah, like the no interest, the user thing. They picked that one for themselves,
they took that
right?
one and
Everybody,
ran.
well,
Did,
everybody found out they're not charged. They don't get charged interest by a lot of these lenders. They just found that out after the tunnel Jews, I believe, is when everybody's like, "What the fuck? They don't have to pay interest." It's like, look, they still the fact check was no, they don't have to. They don't get free money. Because the fact checkers took it like everybody was saying they get free loans and they never have to pay them back. And it's like, nah, they just don't have to pay the interest. They still have to pay the loan back. They just
Don't even bring up fact checkers. It's,
Even though interest is more than the loan, 90% of the
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
but
So
they're
the
Jewish.
location, do we talk about the location of Al-Aqsa and why that's important to the whole
no,
thing?
not
Okay.
yet. No.
So Al-Aqsa Mosque allegedly sits on the site of Solomon's temple. And so in order to carry out their prophecy to bring the Moishiach back, which is the the Hebrew what savior, right?
The one they
Which-
believe in.
Yeah, which is the Christian adversary, according to the book. They have to rebuild Solomon's temple. Well, if it's on the side of Al-Aqsa Mosque, they've got to destroy the mosque. The only way that they're allowed to enter, this goes according to the
Yep.
prophecy, is if they are pure. The only way they can purify themselves is with the ashes of a red heifer. So they have to cut the cow and burn it and then coat themselves in the ashes, or at least give a nice little schmush, a little schmudge.
Yeah, I think it's just a smudge.
I think it's called schmutz in their language.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like something on your collar,
Oh,
like
some
that.
schmutz.
Yeah, the ash would be like a schmudge, but the but that's the only way they can go in. So they gotta off the cow, burn it, wait till the ashes have cooled, and then apply the ashes. And then they will be pure enough to go destroy one of the holiest sites in all of Islam, which I'm sure nobody's going to have a problem with.
No, it looks like
Yeah.
they're working it out right now. If you want to, read the news, it seems like they're working out their differences in their own way. But does all that ritual you just described, does that sound like a loving religion, or like not demonic at all, or just fucking weird on its core?
I mean, yeah.
Sounds fucking crazy. Sounds
So it
fucking crazy.
makes you think that God's chosen people might be worshiping a wildly different God than we think.
Oh, yeah. That's
I don't
It's
remember
funny
Jesus ever
because-
saying to do that. So
people focus like mainly on Christianity and Catholicism, when they're like, oh, we hate these religions. Like, if you look at the blue team, they're like, oh, they want Project 2025. They want to make it a Christian nation, and it's like, well, I mean, we're technically built on no-hide law, right? I mean, that's what we're built upon is no-hide law, which, what are the 7 laws are within the 10 commandments, basically. And we're already like a no-hide nation, right? And then you look at how insane it is with like the rituals, the red heifer, I mean, like every day is some sort of holiday, some sort of like ritual remembrance, of someone getting murdered or them murdering someone or like some revenge and shit. And it's like, what the fuck?
The desert gods need blood is the thing. So if you got a desert god, yeah, you would think that in the desert you would be thirsty for water, but no, turns out it's that claret. That's what they crave. Yeah.
Your blood. And then, the people screaming about, Christians and Catholics, if you mention Jews, they're like, oh, calm down, dude. Calm down. You fucking.
Wasn't that masterfully done,
something?
though, that most modern Christians back Israel 100%? Maybe not Israel, the state of Israel, but the Jewish people, they back them 100%. And then after what you just described, it's like, why? Why are you backing this 100% no matter what?
80 years of unfettered propaganda with about 40 years of intermittent propaganda on top of that.
That does check out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, and then you mix it with the Zionism, right? the ritualistic and yeah, it's like they're trying to they're trying to fulfill prophecy at one aspect, and then the whole thing where they're like being God's chosen children and people. Like, I mean, that's pretty supremacist if you think about it, right? The earth's God's, for God's children, and it's them. They're the only ones that are God's children. And dude, like Adam Green,
to prove it, they're gonna burn a heifer and put their ashes on it.
Wait, is this all Jews? Is there a certain group in Israel that's doing this, or is it like all of Israel? Is it like a tribal kind of cult?
If you follow the Talmud and Torah, I mean, that's what it is. Like, not all of them know this. Like, there's that one clip of Seth Rogen and Mark Maron, right? Is that who it is? Mark Maron?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're talking about, how they've been tricked their whole life. The Jews are crazy. They're fucking nuts, And Mark Maron's like, would you move to Israel? And he's like, fuck no, I'm not. They want us to move there so they can fucking kill us. They need to kill some of us, to bring in the fucking their Messiah and shit. And it's like, God damn, I mean.
Well, dude, when you're talking about the weird rituals and all that, I mean, even in Western culture, we have a lot of weird things. When you think about it and like watch it for a second, you're like, that's weird. Like even the inauguration of a president, them putting their hand on a Bible apparently still and saying these words after this. The whole thing's this weird ritual that we've just come to be accustomed to, and we're like, no, that's normal though. But killing a red heifer, putting ashes all over it, no, that's a little bit too much.
I know. I was thinking too of like, think of all the tribes in South America and Africa that have their own rituals that we're not paying attention to. They're not on TV.
They're not trying to invoke the coming of,
you don't know what the fuck
they're
trying to do.
I don't know what they're trying to do, but I know that one particular population is trying to invoke the apocalypse, and bring in the second
crazy,
coming,
though.
right?
Do you think they could do it? Do you think it's gonna happen?
Don't make it
happen. I mean, it's just like
They're
it's
just
like when you hear about like golems and shit, where some of these people believe you can mix clay and mud.
Oh,
with
make a
blood
little man from clay, yeah.
Or some Sanhedrin,
like a homunculus
monster.
type shit.
Yeah, it's like
you got to jerk off onto it too, from what I hear.
Oh,
yeah, you need blood and semen.
That's so gross. I mean, it's natural, I guess, but it's still weird. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we live in ritual every day, all of our lives. Like, like when you tell people like graduation is like a Saturnal type ritual, with the black gown, the cap, the square, it's a square mortar. You throw it up in the air and it spins, and it's like, what? people like, I don't believe in that shit. And it's like, you don't have to believe in it. The ones
All it
running
takes is
pulling the levers believe in it, apparently. Like the fucking
it just takes
craziest
5
shit.
seconds to look at something like that perfect example of a graduation ceremony that if you actually look at it, you're like, this is fucking weird. Like at just
marriage
at basic level, it's just weird. Like, why do we do this and we just think it's normal?
I
Before
just
we get
went
too far
to
down
one.
that though, I wanted to ask you guys what your definition or views or opinions or whatever on Zionism is, because when we talk about this particular religion, that's more of what we're pointing to. We're not talking about your friend that works at the jewelry store that goes to synagogue or whatever. Most of those have no fucking idea about any of what we're talking about. So it's more pointed to Zionism, right? So what would you guys say on that?
Zionism is a more recent political philosophy, more recent, 1800s, as opposed to a couple or 6,000 years or whatever the Jewish calendar says. But that's a hardcore political philosophy of militaristic expansion and domination that was rooted with returning the Jewish people to their biblical homeland in what was Palestine at the time, or at least post World War I, but traditionally what was known as Palestine. And so it has been a just relentless occupation and expansion of territory inside what is now occupied Palestine since 1947. But Theodor Herzl and Lord Rothschild were basically the people who made
the architects.
Who made at least Israel possible. And then and Lord Balfour, because it's the Balfour Doctrine that gave the actual land up. But yeah, since 1947, it's just been terrorism and brutal military occupation, and they just had a whole conversation in the Jewish legislature in the Knesset about whether or not there was a legal right to rape prisoners. Turns out you can. Turns out you can.
Apparently somebody just leaked a video of that, and they were more worried about who leaked the video than the contents of the video and who perpetrated that. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, well, and they had the soldier on Israeli television where he's like, we were just checking for stuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
With your dick in his ass? Really?
Metal rods.
Yeah, that's what they did, didn't they? They fucking fucked him up.
They broomsticks and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah, and it when it comes to their homeland, their holy land, it turns out people are finding out that's the whole fucking earth. They believe it's the Orthodox believe it's the whole fucking earth.
I can't find that clip of he was either Brett or Eric Weinstein explaining it, the burden that they're dealt with, the hand they were dealt to shepherd the entire planet, take care of the people here. But I was talking to Joe. He was talking to Joe Rogan about that, and I can't find that clip anymore.
It's the Orthodox that are follow the Talmud, Torah, both of them, and then get into the Kabbalah, which is there's two different ones. There's the lunistic.
You're talking about like Jewish mysticism, because that's a pretty like separated little sect of people, right?
That's that's like when you get into Chabad, Lubudovich. I mean, that's the shit they believe.
You're speaking.
That's
Yiddish
what they
to
study.
Me. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Remember when they found the tunnels?
Yeah.
The
Curlies.
Origin point of the tunnels was a Chabad Lubavitch house. That's a particular branch that is known as like the more, I don't know, loud and activist and confrontational organization.
Well, they also Chabad is they're very orthodox, right? So I mean, they follow
as fundamentalist
Jewish,
as you can get.
Yes. But
men and women are quartered separately. They actually do have like the moon room for when they're on their periods and stuff like that.
You know what that's called
Yep.
over here? Extremism.
well,
Yeah.
it's orthodox. It's just
Okay.
Jewish
Sorry.
people.
We'll go with orthodox. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Chabad though is one of the only extreme orthodox sects that will reach across to politicians and shit. So they're basically, in my opinion, I mean, they need everybody to help usher in. Like, this is supposed to be Edom, right? America's supposed to be Edom, which is supposed to be destroyed, right? So that's where you get like Frankenism coming in and stuff, and how some of them will hide behind Judaism. You know, they'll hide behind Christianity or Catholicism and be doing, you know, they're actually practicing Judaism and
then getting
the
selfies at the Wailing Wall and all that.
yeah, stuff like that. They need the Gentiles to, you know, be debaucherous and victimize them, and there's like these certain steps needed when it comes to this fucking ritual. We're like in this big fucking ritual trying to like, because
Now,
the
Chris,
Orthodox
do you know how
sects
many
are
people would
pretty
have to
big,
be in
you
on
know?
that? Do you know how many people would have to be in on that for that to work?
10.
I mean, ultimately, if it's something that's kept within the community, and then it also tells you in your books that you're allowed to lie to people who aren't a part of your community, then if you're ever confronted, you can be like, oh, that's a bunch of, you know, anti-Semitic nonsense. That's true.
You
No, we don't do that. What are you
Where have we
talking
heard
about?
that?
you
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
everywhere.
crazy, but then when you watch, like, Adam Green's got, like, he'll find every rabbi fucking video, and they say it. They say it over and over and over and over. It's not
They're really good
a
actors.
secret
I
or
mean,
anything.
If you can, you know, meet one of these people and they just seem like the nicest person, whatever, and then you catch them on a hot mic or a video and they're saying that shit, it's like, whoa, where did you go to acting school? Because you were very convincing as just a normal person. It's almost like a reptilian takeover.
You know,
It's
man, I was the shout out to Trimmy, buddy of mine in Santa Cruz County. But I did a number of different like remodel projects for him, and I went up to Trim a few times just because he needed a hand and I didn't have shit to do that week. There were these two dudes that he came recommended to him from other growers, and they were Israelis. They were from Haifa. They were like fresh off of their IDF tour, and we're traveling around trimming some weed, being bums. Totally nice, totally friendly, totally, you know, joking around, shit like that. And somebody brought up Palestine, and their whole everything about them changed. And it was just nothing but the most like just, you know, gutter freaking insults. And I mean, it was wild, dude. Like the switch got flipped. And as soon as you brought up like the thing, you know, they instantly
He said the
transformed.
activation phrase,
Yeah.
Palestine,
Yeah.
and then just blink.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a night and day difference, man. And like the more they got themselves going, the grosser it got.
Weird.
And yeah, dude, it's like it's a disgusting kind of brainwashing that occurs, and it's necessary if you're going to carry out a mission of global domination. You know?
It makes you wonder why
dude.
they blame Muslims for so much shit, you know, and then it turns out later like it wasn't necessarily a Muslim. They just kind of pulled out some brown people and were like, "See, Islam bad." So what does that point to?
Yeah, or we had people infiltrate and take over what became a terrorist cell that then committed acts of violence that our guys are going to get a pass for because, according to the books, you're allowed to kill your own countrymen if it helps advance an agenda. It's called the Hannibal Directive in the Israeli military. The Hannibal Directive says if it prevents hostages being taken because we don't want to have to exchange them for the hostages we got, you can kill them. If it's in the course of your regular duties, you can mow down Israeli citizens if you can justify that it was going to stop Hamas doing a bad.
Like 3 abortions today to save the children of tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
More loopholes. Gotta love them. If you can find them. Maybe that's why they make such great lawyers. They can find all the loopholes.
It's the judicial system.
Why not?
Hang on.
Hey!
I don't know.
Hang on. What? Hang on. I have a sound drop for that. Damn it. I wish I was. Oh,
Nope.
here we go. There we go.
All right.
Super late on the drop, but hey, don't worry about it. So how does the Zionism part of it, the militaristic, political type of philosophy, how does that tie in with this extremist, orthodox, group of people?
To a large degree, everyone that is, Jewish by faith is being used first before anybody else in the Zionist project. Like the most of the Zionists themselves, secular, non-religious. First and foremost, we've got, Benjamin Milei-Kowski, Bibi Netanyahu, who's the prime minister of Israel, who only puts on the tiny hat for photo ops, is on record
What a
forever.
great speech he had in front of Congress, though. Oh my God, very moving.
Well, it had to be a good speech if they gave it 58 standing ovations. I mean, you don't give 58 standing ovations to a shitty speech.
No, it was great. He was on point the whole time.
See, it's interesting when it comes to Judaism, right? Because, like, if you're born Jewish, you can't just not be Jewish. You can be secular and not practice Judaism, but you're still Jewish, right? If you're born into a Christian family and you're like, nah, I don't want to do that, you're just atheist. You're not a Christian, you're just atheist, right? But same with Catholics. Like, Judaism, though, you're Jewish. Like,
yeah, you're an atheist Jew. Yeah,
he don't practice, but he's still Jewish. As long as he doesn't get tattoos and murder people and stuff, he'll be fine.
Wow.
Well, murder
More
other
loopholes.
Jewish people.
As long as he doesn't murder other Jewish people and doesn't rape other Jewish people.
Well, unless he has a reason to murder other Jewish
preventing
people, right?
bad
I don't
things.
know if even with a reason. If
Well,
you
the
can murder
Hannibal
other
Directive
Jews.
is the
They
reason,
did kill
but it would,
Jesus.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and there is that. But yeah, no, the Hannibal Directive, at least in a military sense, provides a justification to kill other Jews. But
on a technicality, they didn't kill Jesus. They just said, "Go ahead." We'll take
speaking
the
about
blame
how I keep saying they because I don't want to be too specific, if you know what I mean. Not that you haven't been, but how they
sorry,
see...
you guys have a YouTube channel. I just now.
Are you on
that.
YouTube?
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay.
We'll put this to the test and see what happens.
Yeah.
Come at me,
Ooh,
YouTube.
Sorry about your
now.
YouTube channel.
We have
don't
like
put
10 followers. It's fine.
I'm not worried.
Don't
Our
put this
main
on
following is not on YouTube.
No,
We're not worried.
It's just funny because when Netanyahu was, or whoever the spokesperson or whatever for Israel was talking about how many Hamas people they killed, they were like, we killed like 2,000 Hamas members, and they were like, what about the other 38,000 people that died? And they're like, well, we killed 2,000 Hamas people because they don't see the other 38,000 as people; they see them as cattle. Isn't that directly from the Talmud?
Yeah, I mean, they're effectively livestock.
Yeah, they're
Cows, chickens, sheeps.
They are God's chosen people, right? And I gotta say, I mean, when the shit goes down, I mean, even the secular Jews, if the shit were to go down and they were like, back to like crusade shit, but on the reverse, I guess, I would assume even the seculars like, whoa, I'm with you guys. I'll be over here now.
Have you seen my nose?
Yeah. No, I was just, wait until I
But yeah, no, where Zionism really operates though is as the main mechanism of political mind control for the rest of the Western world. And it's this, it's all connected to World War II. It's a constant re-invoking of, you know, magic numbers. And 6 million is a magic number in that particular religion.
Probably
It might be a magic number.
6,666.
It might be a magic
Type.
number, but it's almost certainly an inaccurate number too.
Oh, implausible, certainly. Yeah. But the invocation of the magic number is the thing that matters, not whether or not it actually is accurate.
As long as it gets stuck in people's heads, then their job is done.
Yeah, and if you present one side of a narrative for the better part of a century and you criminalize presenting the other side of a narrative, or even in multiple other sides of the same narrative, then you can run a really effective campaign of altering, history.
Yeah, isn't all this based on Tavistock and Bernays and all that kind of thing too? I mean, it seems like they're using the same methods. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so Tavistock was created right after World War One, and a number of the Tavistock scientists were also not just Jewish, but very early supporters of Theodor Herzl's Zionism. And again, there is no state of Israel without the UK, without Lord Balfour, without Lord Rothschild. It is a original, MI6, Tavistock, then OSS and CIA sort of project. And it's that there's, the nexus of like Anglo-American empire. Sometimes it's hard to tell who's client state. You know what I mean? But
well, I mean, I think there's different factions out there too. I know Lindsay Sharman's talked about this too, but it's not just a big they or something. It's different split off factions, and they're kind of fighting each other. But maybe that's also theater. Like you can go as far as you want with it, but it seems to me like that's how it is too, where there's different factions. Like there's the Trump side, who's his own faction of like the they, and then there's the other, the Clintons and the Obamas and all that. That's another faction of they, and they're just kind of like duking it out and using us as their pawns on their giant chessboard.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that. I think at the end of it, the pool of warring factions is relatively small, and they'll drop all of that at a moment's notice if it means they have to, come together temporarily to really screw us over. But when you've got something like the Bank of International Settlements that effectively underwrites all nation states, which in and of itself is one of those autonomous little square miles in Basel, Switzerland, that everybody talks about. City of London and Vatican City, Washington DC, but Basel, Switzerland is also one of those places that exists within its own free-floating autonomy, and that's where the Bank of International Settlements is.
That's the Swiss Army, right?
The Templars.
Do they come out of there? Because they're the ones that guard the Vatican.
Yeah, the Swiss Guard. Yeah,
that's why their flag is square, and so is the Vatican flag is square. They're the only two square flags because it means they are equally guarded on all sides.
Flags are a weird thing. I'm not rabbit trailing, but just isn't that another weird part of this whole thing? How everybody has a flag for everything. Yeah. Apparently, there was an age. What was it called? Identity age. I don't fucking know what they call it, but it's basically a flag for people who identify as a different age than they are. First of all, nobody's ever going to use that for something gross.
Wait, some of them,
that's now something.
It's just like but it's just like the trans, gay, LGBTQ kind of movement but it's like, oh, I don't identify as an age at all. You can do that. Or you can identify as a 2-year-old when you're 60, or you can identify as a 75-year-old when you're 5.
No, this is all in the imagination.
But then some people can identify as outside ages. Like I could identify as 500, the age that I jokingly say that I'm going to live to. So you can identify as whatever you want.
I mean, that is
Abdul, get the rocks. Oh. Get the freaking rocks, Abdul.
My Twitter says
Noah, get the boat.
I'm a proud black woman on my Twitter. It says.
You should be.
Yours does?
Yeah. If you don't believe me, that's a hate crime. I'll have to report you.
You go, girl.
I'm gonna get your Twitter account removed.
Thank
oh
you.
no, you didn't. Getting that shit removed.
Hey, look, if Kamala Harris can be a strong black woman, so can Chris.
Yeah,
dude. I just heard something about that today. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say KJP stood up there and said, hey, you can't fucking tell anybody what they identify as. Okay, I'm a proud black woman.
Setting precedents. They got to watch out for that shit. You set a precedent, it's going to come bite you in the ass a couple months later, and then you're going to be like, no, I didn't. That's not what I meant. Okay.
That Rachel Drashel. What was her last name?
Rachel Dolezal.
She's got to be fucking pissed.
Right? She got drummed out the NAACP for being transracial.
She had to sell her
she was a pioneer.
On OnlyFans.
She was a pioneer.
Respect these
King,
people.
Is that his name? He's
Sean King, Talcum.
He's got to be making a comeback soon now.
Yeah, Hewlett P. Newton.
Yeah, because if you argue with them and be like, dude, you're white.
Thurgood
like, that's a hate crime. And they're like, in the UK right now, I think they throw you in jail for your Facebook posts.
That you retweet something, you go into jail.
So
did you guys see the clip
America.
Of that?
Yeah, we played it. They also locked up a 55-year-old grandmother.
For something, for a mean tweet or what?
For retweeting.
What's going on?
Something that was already on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
WeChat.
Okay.
Yeah. WeChat. X chat. Twitter chat.
What did she retweet? Like, how bad was it? Was this here?
It's if you retweet anything that's going on over there right now, I think they come knocking on your fucking door.
Oh,
faggots.
Alrighty.
It is out of hand. And it's coming here.
I imagine it is. I mean, I don't know how much
they tried it in Canada.
Not to be like devil's advocate for
they are doing
clip, but what, like every time I see something like that, like a clip of people getting their door sawzalled in half so that they can come in and arrest you for a mean tweet or something, like a lot of people do stupid shit online. Is this like, how do you verify these types of videos, especially in the age of AI? Like, in your opinion, I'm curious.
One of them, remember that black lady in Oklahoma, I believe it was. We showed the clip where FBI agents came to her house. She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I just made a Facebook post. How are you gonna?"
They
come
didn't even
to my
look like
house?
feds either. I mean, kind of. But...
And then more videos started popping up. I found her Facebook, and she seemed to be pretty legit on what she was talking about. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can call and check on arrest record and stuff like that, see whether or not
she had a lot of pro-Palestinian post on Facebook, and it's like, fuck, dude, like they're not making arrests.
Like the arrest records and police reports, I can see that shit getting wiped so fucking
everything's
quick.
Digital now. So you just bloop. So but hey, I know how to fix that. Let's put it on the blockchain, guys. I got this thing called Bitcoin. We can
yeah, I mean, you can put your whole archive of shows inside of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, little tiny whatever they are.
Like microfiche. It's like digital microfiche.
Satoshis.
It is kind of.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, actually.
So the 50
is kind of cool, but the
55-year-old woman thing. This is what the post from the Cheshire Police says. 55-year-old woman from near to Chester was arrested earlier today. Today on suspicion of a number of offenses in relation to a singular social media post containing inaccurate information about the identity of the attacker in the Southport murders.
Yeah.
Some people are just fucking wrong. Like, so what?
Hey, if this is the case, if this is the precedent they want to set, that means they should be knocking down CNN, Fox, everybody else's
Well,
door.
look at what
Reporting
they're-
inaccurate information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the inversion happening right now, right? So like Alex Jones sued for $1 billion, right? Trump gets shot, doesn't get shot. Who the fuck knows what happened, right? But you're allowed to get on the fucking TV and go, yeah, basically at a ketchup packet. And, you know, now the blue team can go, oh, yeah, conspiracy. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Now it's completely flipped around. Now they're turning into like a cult. When they show the videos of them chanting, "This is democracy," It's like, what the fuck, dude? I thought y'all wasn't a cult and shit. I thought you didn't like that. Now you love the cannibal. It's true. They fucking love China and cults is a thing of theirs now.
It is funny to
soon.
watch both sides like get so culty. It makes me think, oh shit, is the centrist cults too now? Is that a cult now?
So
Fuck.
the Democratic side now is a strange cult because most cults follow a person. Like there's a leader there, but what they're built around is like just hating the other side. So like Trump right now is like their anti-leader. They're just hating him and they're building a cult based on hating him just by themselves. Like there's no one there to lead them. It's fucking chaotic.
And based on whoever is in the blue chair, no matter if they get nominated or not,
Sort
just
of.
whoever.
Like
No
they
matter
kind of
who.
caved on Biden. Like they were like, "Ooh, Biden, I don't think we're gonna support him anymore." Like
Well,
they're real
they were
fickle
cool
with it.
with him until they weren't cool with him. That's what was
Exactly.
fucking crazy, you know. But that's how
That
it
was about
works.
3
They flip
days.
on each other. They roll on. All of them are disloyal. It doesn't matter red team, blue team.
They're loyal to
Same
their own beliefs, and
shit
if you don't
bird.
agree, then fuck you.
Well, you're only as valuable as your usefulness. And if you're an 81-year-old shell that's walking around crapping himself everywhere he goes,
Come
on, man. Up there at the NATO summit talking about, I fucked your wife.
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, man.
Dude, he doesn't know where he is. When he walks, it sounds like this.
Well, now that clip of Pelosi come out, she's on a podcast. She's got the big earphones on. And she's like, it's like, what the fuck, dude? She's
hip.
basically saying they knew Biden as president would suck, you know, but they got him
It
in
wasn't
anyways.
Trump.
Like they're
That's it.
basically, and then you see what's coming out in Georgia and shit, and it's like it's in the open, you know.
Talking
I mean,
about
they
Fulton
totally
County and all that.
Fulton County, the Georgia election board, and everything that I mean, people think all that shit's over. You know, they're like, oh, 60 something cases thrown out, blah, 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 you know, when it comes to the 2020 election. But Georgia and I think Wisconsin and a couple other the most contested states are still holding these hearings and pulling shit up like, well, how the fuck did this happen? Like and then they got what in January basically the 2020 election was mishandled.
No,
Is
it was
the
the most
least you could
secure
say.
election.
The least you could say, you know, stolen, that's a conspiracy. You're fucking crazy. You're a red Kool-Aid drinking cultist, right?
MAGA Trumper.
It was mishandled. Is the least that could be said, because I mean the Georgia thing is just fucking ridiculous. And then they gave that Ruby Freeman a pat on the back with a medal, same as what they did with this Secret Service lady. You know, she steps down, and Biden, he's got COVID. He's hanging out in he's dead or something. I don't know, but he's hanging in a basement. He's dead. Who fucking knows? But some sort of memo pops up, which is actually more official than the memo of him stepping down. I think it was. It said, you know, what was her name? I forgot her name already.
Cheadle?
Cheadle. She was great the last couple decades. You know, we really loved her. Great job. You know, you did a really good, basically a pat on the back. we'll bring you in before I get out, give you a medal. It'll be fucking awesome. You know, now you get to resign and live off the taxpayer fucking pension and have a great time. You did perfect.
Enjoy yourself.
Well, kind of. You fucked up a little, but I don't know. Some people think he got hit with the.
I think he got hit with a piece of plastic at very close range. That it was always meant to be a graze. That no matter where you hit him in his head, it's gonna be white Jesus reaching down from heaven and moving him at just the last minute to avoid certain death. But yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's a
So
good
they
thing
dropped
they
that
didn't
in-
hit him in the eye then, huh? I've
Well,
heard that
think
too.
of how
where-
cool the RNC would have been. Everybody would have been walking around with an eye patch. It would have been a
I just
yeah.
like though, but like in his eyeball, dude, there would have been like a piece of plastic BB stuck in his eyeball.
You mean some evidence or what?
Well, that would have been removed at the hospital, and they
There
would
would
have
have been.
they would have given him a little crumpled up piece of metal and told him it was shrapnel, and he would have had it framed, and he'd make people kiss it every time they walked into the office at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, there's no way the dude was in on it. I don't think any of the Trumps were in on the fucking thing.
I
But
don't. Yeah,
there's-
I don't.
did you
I've
see
heard
the
both
new
ways,
footage?
but
yeah,
I've
the
heard-
cop popping up.
Yeah. After they fucking said that the Butler County had no fucking body cams, then they're like, "Oh, well, here's the body cam of them jumping up on the roof and the dude turning the gun on him."
well, Cheadle also said they didn't have any comms recordings, but that they normally do record the comms, but they didn't this time.
Yeah.
It's like the Epstein cameras not working that
It's-
particular day. You know, same type of thing. But I've heard both ways where, like, either the shooter was so good that he only hit him in the ear, or they were so bad that they couldn't fucking kill Trump, who's a big chode of a dude. So both of those aside, though, like the through the ear, there's been people that were also talking about, oh, he was hit with an AR or a AR-15 style rifle, whatever, that would have blown his whole ear off. I'm like, you've never shot one of those. No, it wouldn't. Depends on where it hits it. A 223 round or even a 5.56 is not going to blow your whole ear off.
No,
Unless
but it
you're
would
hitting it at the
rupture-
base, maybe? I don't
It
know.
would probably rupture your eardrum though, going that fast. Like you'd have
I would
more than
think.
the MAGA maxi pad that he had there at the convention.
For what,
You'd have
4
more than
days?
that.
See,
Yeah.
that thing was dumb. It should have just rocked it. Like I got my appendix out that day, right? I didn't even
Oh.
get a fucking stitch. They just put some glue on these. This one hole's bigger than an entry of a 5.56. Like it's a good size hole. They put a vacuum or something in there, right? And I didn't even get a stitch. This guy's running around with a fucking maxi pad on his fucking ear for 5 fucking days. Like what the fuck, dude?
Had Mike Lindell's signature on it.
And you know what's crazy is the only footage I've seen is TMZ just dropped a documentary, right? People are starting to talk about it. I started dropping clips for it a couple days ago, right? And there's a clip where they're talking and it shows from behind Trump turning his head and putting his hand, getting hit. And with the raw footage, with the raw file, you could probably zoom in and see something with the ear or something. You can see that the teleprompter doesn't get touched. But with the video from TMZ, you can't get a good zoom in on it. And it seems TMZ is the only one with this video. So that's interesting because I haven't seen it. I have 550 videos and clips of just the Trump assassination attempt from like 3 or 4 different of the live streams of the full thing from start to finish, where the Secret Service, they're already standing up. They're already checking shit out like before God Bless America even starts.
Dude, none of it makes sense. Everything I've heard about, there's so many different moving parts and angles to this thing, and none of it makes sense, like from one particular theory, really. And it makes me think, is that the whole game here? Like it was like a jigsaw puzzle for everyone to go, smoke weed and go try to put together and not pay
If
attention
none
to
of it,
whatever else.
if
Like,
none
I
of
don't
it
know.
makes sense, it's all misdirection, right?
Right. That's what I mean.
Then
yeah.
it's just tossed out of the news cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Biden steps down and excitement about Camilla, grassroots.
And then
They're not
James O'Keefe drops that report where he found out that Act Blue is making donations in name people that had
They're-
previously donated, but they didn't put that money up. It's just
the 80-something-year-old lady, basically, like you were talking about. They took her, and they're smurfing donations is what they call it. So they take her and they'll make fucking $10 donations multiple times a day for months on end. And he's going up to him like, you donated like 18,000. What? What are you talking about? I didn't donate no $18,000. And at the same time, the blue team's like, look we raised $3 million. It's all grassroots. It's all grassroots. Don't pay attention to this over here.
we're packing
what the
arenas. Okay,
Yeah.
well, maybe we just added Kamala as a guest speaker for 5 minutes right in the middle of a whole bunch of previously scheduled and already sold out music festivals, but she's really bringing them in there.
Just so happens Taylor cancels the rest of her European tour.
It was just those 3 shows from what I saw, but they'll probably
That's
pull
the
her
end
in.
of the.
I thought
believe
she was
that's
in-
the end of the thing.
I thought she was going to England after that. I pulled it
Oh,
up
is
on
she?
I pulled it up on a stream the other. I think it was Blunt Force. But yeah.
It's
A
just
terrorist
see
threat.
her pop up.
Well, you guys saw the Kamala Stay Woke video, right? Because I want to play this. I haven't played it on the show yet, but I got to cut this up into some sound bites too.
We have to stay woke. Like everybody needs to be.
Hang on. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me put the video up so you can see our future president's beautiful face. So yeah, I need to cut this up. I know OBDM played it, but it's so stupid, and it's just another great example of how, well, fucking stupid she is.
We have to stay woke. Like everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. There's quite some montages that could be put together.
You know what nobody
of,
talks about when it
Kamala.
comes to building a content?
Oh fuck! Sorry, wrong button.
She is
yeah, she's the worst.
She sounds
dude.
like she's vaccine injured.
she sounds like if Xanax could talk, it would be Kamala Harris. It would be.
That's pretty spot on.
She was out there
And then
slurring her words at like 11 o'clock this morning. I saw a clip. Michael Malice put one up. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's just whole freaking marble-mouthed nonsense.
And then
Well,
Biden
Biden was her predecessor, so.
And now she picked that Tim Walz, who's like
Oh,
chubbier
tampon
Biden.
Tim. Tampon Tim.
And see, people when using the tampon Tim, people are like, "Oh, what? Republicans don't want free tampons in the ladies' bathrooms," and it's like it's not that part that they're talking about. It's the part that the tampons are in the boys' bathroom in middle school. That's
Why?
the part that they're talking
Well, it's so
about.
stupid
Like,
too because I heard somebody saying, "Well, toilet paper's in there." It's like we use that every day. I poop a lot and I use it multiple times a day.
No, that's not fair because everybody has an ass. Okay,
Right.
everybody
Right.
shits. Not everyone needs to use a tampon. That's fucking stupid. They're putting tampon machines in boys'
No, it's just
bathrooms?
what Tim Walz wants to do if he's elected vice president or something. Or has he
No,
already?
no,
I mean, he
no,
passed
no,
it-
no.
he
They
passed
did
it in
that in
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't keep track of all this shit.
He's red flag law, which Trump signed. The thing with Tim Walz though is that he's running around with the stolen valor thing, and the Democrats' strategy seems to be when reporters are like, "Hey, I have a question," they go, "Okay," and then they walk away. They just walk
Good for
away. They don't answer.
Bomb.
They just like, dude. JD Vance and Camilla landed in Michigan together, was it? And JD Vance goes over to the reporters, and then Camilla and Tim Waltz or whatever is outside the plane with Girl Scouts. And as soon as the reporters ask a question, they just because they're asking Tim Waltz about the stolen valor, about him saying he went to war. He was in the Guard, which that's the 1 weekend a month. 2 weekends 2 weeks a year. I worked with a kid who would be mad. He was 20 and he was in the garden. He was all mad on Veterans Day because he didn't get the day off to go get coffee. And it's like, motherfucker, like you ain't even like left Arkansas, dude. Like, what are you fucking talking about? You want fucking 50-cent coffee? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
But Tim
I've heard
Walz,
all those talking points against like the stolen valor and all that. I'm not going to verify that. I really don't give a shit. It is interesting, but to see the left's counterpoints that JD Vance and Trump are quote weird. That's a new talking point.
and creepy and weird.
Okay, so they just say mostly weird. Like there's a lot of people just being like they're weird. I wish that's the only thing
Tim
anyone
Walz
ever
who
said
started
about
it.
me. Like if
It's
that's
Tim
the
Walz who
worst.
started that. Who started they're weird.
Yeah, if
So-
there was one thing I wish people would call me more is just weird. If that's all you got,
they do.
I know.
Just so you know.
I know. But if that's all you got, then I'm
But
happy.
that's a great thing. People should be weird. That's not the worst thing in the world. They're not like, he looks like a pedophile.
Well, they're
Like,
saying
just
JD
a little
Vance fucked
weird
a couch,
is fine.
which ends up being a made-up story. Like, and then they're saying weird. Yeah, it's weird because it wasn't
The couch
a real
thing
story.
I saw came from the first edition of his Hillbilly book, the first print of it, and then it got removed, the little
Oh, really?
like paragraph thing.
But he's talking about
I don't
being
know
a
how
kid
true it is.
fucking his couch. Okay, that is weird. But he's
Yeah,
also a
yeah.
kid. You want to dig up some shit, see what Biden was doing when he was fucking 9?
Well, Biden's out of there. You can't
Oh,
talk
right.
about Biden anymore. You know, that's another thing is
And you can't
that's
talk about
another thing
Kamala
with
'cause
me
she's
with
black.
the shooting thing is like Trump has the fandom and stuff, but I think if they would have got that mind-blowing picture, the hat suspended in the air, skull chunks like the 4K JFK fucking shot. Everybody in the Republican Party would have rallied around whoever they would have put in
Anybody.
there, it would have been rally around the family with pockets full of shells, and there would have been even some undecided that would have been like, holy shit, they fucking, and then it would have been immediately to war with Iran and shit. Like,
Yeah, we actually have a dude.
The only problem with that is that he hadn't actually named a vice president with the day that he gave that speech.
yeah, so like what would have happened in that instance? Like someone just steps up into the spot, or then they
would
got to
have
because
they would have to run a snap primary because the RNC has different rules than the DNC. The DNC can, their delegates can decide who's president on the floor of the convention. It doesn't matter what the primary votes were. It all comes down to those delegates saying, I nominate and we nominate. And if they have enough, then they're the person. And there's a couple of different cases where they've done that. The RNC doesn't have that rule. They run a primary, and whoever has the most votes out of that primary gets to be president. So they would have had to do like potentially like a 3-week long or a month long, throw a whole bunch of
It would have
dorks
fucking
back up on
caused
stage again.
absolute chaos in the whole grand scheme of things. It would have caused chaos. I just
Well, I think
them
it seems
two
to me
little
that
details
chaos.
of that thing to me are like they keep telling you over and over, we gave him like, as much fucking time as needed. But then there's the video of them. There's a video from, it would be stage left, but the right side looking at Trump, it would be from the right, where when the shots fired, they all fucking turn to their right. And the shots sound really fucking close. And it's like, what the fuck? Because Kennedy, they used how many shooters, I mean, but if they wanted
No, that
him
was a
dead,
magic bullet.
they had that here with the stupid picture. If that's even real. And if that's real, and that guy had his shit set to catch that kind of detail, and then the hydraulic line blowing out, it's like, fuck, man.
Well, dude, so from what I can tell, the chaos thing is the order of the day. And what do we know about that? Ordo ab chaos, that order out of chaos. So it's the most chaotic time I've ever seen in my life, especially with all the internet and everything, and just people spewing misinformation, disinformation, you're wrong, I'm right, and the whole thing. It is the most chaotic mindfuck I think we've ever been in. So how do you think this pans out over the next, as we close up here, how do you think this pans out over the next 6 months? Well, we'll say till the election and maybe 2 months after the election. What's your little like thoughts on what's going to be happening there? Don't all go at once.
I still think Trump gets in. I think that having the PayPal mafia in the White House ensures the building of the infrastructure for the digital prison. I think the upcoming economic collapse, laying it at Trump's feet, is going to seriously demoralize the right. And I think that puts the Democrats in a position to, pretend to be the resistance for 4 years. They always do better when they're the underdogs. They'll have
Victims.
their WEF management team in place for 2024. They know Kamala Harris is a loser. Yeah, you gotta go out there and try and sell it, because a candidacy is a fantastic money laundering opportunity. And
$81
boy,
million
did they!
apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, Bernie Sanders raised what, 200 and some $million back in 2016, back when my buddy Jared Beck and his wife sued him, or sued the DNC, and that's where we got all those lovely quotes like, "We can
See the
pick candidates
first
in a smoke-filled back room."
Jew to win a primary or something. He didn't win.
Well, Barry Goldwater, but he was non-practicing.
Well, no, his father was Jew.
Yeah.
Goldwater. So yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't. Because they got to see you come out of the fucking woo-ha,
right,
to be truly Jewish.
The Wuhan.
Yeah, they got to fucking see you fucking breach those waters.
Right.
Like, that guy's definitely Jewish. He just came
literally
out of a Jew.
Parting the
just
Red
came
Sea.
out of a Jew. Yeah.
All right, so that was Steve's. Chris, what you gonna echo that pretty much, or just wait and see? Like, that's kind of my mentality, is we just kind of wait and see and then react, because we don't really have any.
Yeah, who fucking knows what's gonna happen anymore? I mean, they one dude's like, they're gonna try it again with Trump. Trump, he's doing outdoor fucking rallies, still going back to Butler. He's going back to the scene of the crime.
That's a Trump thing to do. I could see that.
It is a Trump thing to do, right?
I'm gonna go back. I'm not gonna be shot twice. It'll be spectacular. We'll see. I'm not making any calls.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I don't think they're done.
What's
be wild.
The Shane Gillis bit where he fucking was like, I think Trump would be the funniest to get us at, like, that whole bit. Like, it basically went down like that. He was talking shit when it happened, and he did kind of make a funny noise. He dropped.
Yeah, it was great.
And then he
like
gets
a movie.
up and fucking he's fighting these little tiny women.
Yeah.
Dude, it was some like Braveheart type shit. I'm like, you could, I mean,
dude, Zuckerberg and now Musk. You see the clip with Musk come out about how badass it was. Trump, how I can't remember the exact words he uses, but yeah, it's
oh no, I did see that clip. Yeah, Zuckerberg talking about it. Yeah,
Zuckerberg was like, it was badass. What am I supposed to? Yes, he literally looks like he's coming in his pants as he's talking about it.
Well, he was
Elon
coming in
a little
in
less
his metal robot pants or whatever he wears.
Metal robot pants. Like, who knows? It's hard to tell what's gonna happen. I keep saying we're in this fucking crazy layer upon layer psyop wedding cake.
I think if you start to see order in magnitude, kind of watch out for that too. Because if it starts all coming together and everything starts getting better and you're like, yeah, no, that's the time to be on guard, because they're trying something if it comes to that. That's just
they went, from Black Monday, the markets, oh my God, to what today or yesterday, the best since 2022, putting people on this fucking crazy roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just it's a big psyop. We're in a big giant.
It's just keeping people in that limbic
psyop
response. Yeah, where you're fight or flight all the time, and then it can't get too good, and then it gets bad, so you're always on guard and just always. I don't
Yeah, if
know.
not enough people are upset about a certain thing, they have to add other things in. Like maybe enough people didn't pay attention to the Olympics and they're like, well, shit, we did not rile enough folks. Let's get in the stock market. Let's fuck with that. Maybe that's what they're looking at. Who
Sprinkle
knows?
a couple rockets in Iran or whatever. Yeah, it's just
Whatever. They're just trying to
hey,
seed
now
it out.
they're rioting all over the United Kingdom. Yeah.
But see that riot in the United Kingdom, I'm seeing that's like pretty isolated, so to speak, of where it's happening. It's just we're seeing that isolated spot of it, so it amplifies it.
Well, that's what they do.
then,
It's a magnifying glass. The media's a magnifying glass. They're like, look at all these ants, but no, look at this one.
I know
This
nothing about
one
this.
is-
Did this just start recently? This is new?
It's been ongoing for a little while. There were a couple of murders committed by immigrants that really, really pissed people off. One of them being, out of all fucking places, the Taylor Swift dance class. It was being
oh shit, yeah, that's
That's
right.
a place? Huh. Cool.
Well, for over there, and then someone ran through there stabbing people, didn't he?
yeah, bunch of little
Bunch of
kids.
stabbing little kids, and they're Taylor Swift, man.
that's
Much
fucked up.
love to
Okay.
the families. That's terrible, but your first mistake was
That
going
is
to that class.
Fucking
sorry.
crazy.
Agreed.
Oh, that's
Agreed.
fucked
That
up.
was crazy. Well, and then like Venezuela, Maduro, I guess he's blocking Twitter for 10 days, blaming Twitter for the uproar in Venezuela.
Well, the U.S. just keeps trying to overthrow that dude. Like every time, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I wonder what their Twitter looks like down there. It's gotta be fucking crazy.
If only it wasn't blocked from us. You know, they're talking about what was his name? John Ritter, maybe, but his ties
Scott.
with Russia, Scott Ritter.
Scott, yeah.
Scott Ritter. Yeah, they just raided him.
Yeah, and it's so funny because if you're gonna start, I can see this leading to like blocking RT from U.S. servers, or blocking whatever the other international news companies are from seeing them. You know who does that? North Korea.
Yeah.
From what
Well,
they
the
tell
Restrict
us.
Act, they were trying to push through. That was part of that. If you use the VPN,
Yeah.
and then access like RT or Yandex or a foreign agents,
Or Sputnik or whatever the other ones are.
yeah, you could face 10 years in prison or something like that.
Did that actually pass? I don't see that.
It didn't pass because we'd
fart
all
in
be
the
in
wind.
prison. I believe
okay,
we
yeah.
would all be in prison. It's retroactive, some of those parts, So like,
Jesus.
we'd all be in prison. There'd be people in prison for hate speech. There'd be people in prison for using VPNs. There'd be
Crimes
people
you
in
committed
prison.
before it was a crime and had no idea
Yep.
it was a crime. Fuck you.
Tucker
Nice.
covered that part where they were retroactive to be able to go through bank records and shit with the Restrict Act.
Are they looking
And-
to lock up every single person in the world? Because if they do that, that's what's going to happen.
The ones that
They
don't
don't-
comply, yeah.
Well, the ones who don't comply, they just get like, what happened to Monday? You ever seen that show? Is that the movie? Whatever.
What happened to Monday? Yeah.
Or is it What Happened to Friday?
It's one of the days of the
those.
week.
I think it's what
One
happened
of
with all
those
the
days,
girls.
like-
There's like 8
Yeah,
girls
and
or
at
whatever.
the end,
Yeah.
you find out they're just fucking just torching the kids and just
Yeah.
dumping them down the trash. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they even tried to feed us that bullshit that we played on the show where they just freeze prisoners or something. Or no, go in and scramble their memories,
Oh, yeah.
That's the Nah, they would just like incinerate those people, and then the ones that they can rehabilitate into the the re-education, so to speak, that are willing to comply.
And sorry for my white sins and
There you
that
go.
kind of thing. Yeah.
The other ones are like, he got COVID. The family's like, what the fuck happened to him? He was in the camp, and I know he posted horrible shit on Facebook, and
Got
he
the
got
Boeing,
COVID. Remember, he fucking didn't take the vaccine. So
got the Boeing
fucking told
whistleblower
you.
treatment.
yeah,
I don't know, man. He
fucking-
didn't take that one shot, and he had 42 diseases all at once. It was the damnedest
He was in
thing.
our cameraless wing for the weekend, and he hung himself. So,
He just had
I
a
don't
black
know.
swan event, and we don't know. He's gone now.
COVID
That's all
was
you
the
need to know.
perfect predecessor for that. So they scared us with something that killed, 0.1% of the population, wait for a bunch of people to comply who definitely did, who probably said they wouldn't. And then they threatened them with actual death. And they're like, no, you'll definitely die, or you comply and go into the re-education camp. And they probably will.
Get your head shaved.
It's going to separate the people who aren't afraid to die at all and the people who are just like, whatever, I was just being a pussy this whole time. Forget it. I'll follow you.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll be fun times.
When the gun's to your head, it's not metaphorical.
Yeah.
That's funny. I started calling the vaccine Trump juice to people because that pisses people off, it seems. And the blue team, they're arguing, is like, oh, you took the Trump juice, right? Or when they tell you, it's Facebook mainly because it's like middle school with preschool brains, right? Or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, you drink the Kool-Aid cult, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you actually injected the Trump juice Kool-Aid. Mine is metaphorical. I will sip on all of it.
Right. My Kool-Aid
All
doesn't come with
day.
myocarditis. Thanks.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like 85%+ they say took at least one shot. And then it
Wow.
dramatically dropped after that.
That
But
seems about the
85+%.
same percentage if you were to say every one of those unalived in the next few years. That almost matches perfectly the Deagle stats on the population
The
in
Depop,
2025. Yeah. Weird how these numbers always match up, but it's just a coincidence. Again, people, this whole show is just for satire and comedy. We're not being serious, obviously, if you heard the first half of the show. It's
I
not
do
serious.
a comedy show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's comedy. Ha 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 ha. Now
I'm
go home and
serious
laugh about
as
it.
Fuck, guys. I'm
No,
totally
he-
serious.
Well, this is a
Look at
parody
me.
of Chris anyway, so he's serious,
Yeah.
but he's a parody. Yeah.
Look at me. Serious as shit.
Well, thanks you guys so much for coming on. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Of course, we'll put your links in the show notes and everything, but anything with your word power that you want to plug before we get out?
I just go to amwakeupshow.com. Buy some merch.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
And if not, after that, go to rainedoutrantcast.com.
Sweet.
And there you
Wow,
go.
that was the shortest plugs from a guest I've ever heard. Sometimes they're about 5 minutes long. That's great.
Yeah, no, I can't stand that shit.
I always just say Google us. It shows up. Like
That's
just
what that
whatever.
one California governor candidate said.
Google me.
He just said, just Google me. That was in the little pamphlet that came out
Just
to everybody.
Google
That
us.
was like his bio or his profile where you read about every candidate.
Well, just
To replace
Google us.
Governor Newsom. Oh my God, I said
Gaviner.
it again.
Ah.
Murph, that was for you. But to replace Newsom, and his profile was just Google me.
You
He
can
didn't
just
win.
Google us
Whatever.
for now until that becomes an impossibility as well. But for now, I think it still works. Last time I checked. Anyway, thanks, you
Camilla
guys.
should be just Google Donald Trump
Heck yeah, man. Thank you.
on her pop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
And thank everybody on audio and Rockfin. YouTube, so long. Thanks for being with us as long as you were. And don't forget that YouTube is gay.
You ugly.
Thank you for listening to Legit Bad. Please address all content grievances to gofuckyourself@yourmom.com. See you next week.